Hey guys, Sid from Sid's Trains here, and it's the end of the year. And in this video, we're going to be doing a year overview of the channel and what's been going on this year and how far we've come. A lot has really happened this year, both from me in my personal life and in the model train world. So we're going to be talking about that today and going over a bunch of stuff. So let's get into it. So starting out with the channel itself, we've grown a lot this year. At the beginning of this year, I only had 1,600 subscribers. I've then added, or you guys have allowed me to add, another 1,700 subscribers. So now we have over 3,000 subscribers on the channel. So I can't thank all of you enough for subscribing and watching the videos. It really means a lot to me, and it drives me to keep making content so I can share with you all the stuff that I do in this hobby. I really can't thank you guys enough, and I'm going to try to do more live streams in the future so we can communicate more. And live streams are a lot of fun, so I'll make sure to do more of those in the future and just do some Q&A with the community tab and some other things like that, because stuff like that allows you guys to get more enjoyment out of the channel. And as always, make sure to comment and tell me what you guys think and what you guys might want out of the channel, because that really helps me decide what I'm going to make videos on and what you guys want to see out of the channel. The next thing is just me and my personal life. I've really changed a lot over this past year because I went from being a high schooler to a college student. That's a really big change, and over this past year I've made that transition, and I've been doing really well in school, and I've been enjoying being able to specialize in certain parts of education instead of just being in public school, which high school is very important. Education is very important. But of course you want to learn stuff that you're interested in. And I'm interested in electrical engineering, and I was able to expand my knowledge by going to college, of course, for electrical engineering, and I enjoyed it a lot. So that, alongside with trains, really made for a very interesting year, and just also being able to travel a lot more. As I grow older, I get to do more things, drive all over the place, and we will be talking about that as well in this video, is all the meetups and gatherings I went to related to model trains. Moving on to trains again, the layout itself has come a long way over this past year. There hasn't been a lot of work, it seems, because the table is still just a very bare bone table. However, recently I have been doing some stuff, so in the new year you will get to see a lot of updates on the layout and more to come, because I'm continuously just adding more and more to the layout, buying more things, modifying things, and just adding scenery, which is the real big thing. But the layout has come a long way since the beginning of the year. At the beginning of the year, the layout was very bare bones, not a lot on it. I had installed the track with the Homosote, I had painted the table. I got all the track installed, which is a really big thing for me because I bought all the switches that I needed, all the track I needed, all the bumpers, and of course wired the entire layout. I'm very proud of my layout's wiring because it is super nice. It's this nice thick gauge hardwire bus wiring all the way around the layout, and I'll show you guys that in some upcoming layout updates. But I'm just really proud of it because trains can run around my layout with no issue, whether they're command or conventional. They'll run really smoothly, and that's just awesome. Not a lot of layouts get to say that because there's issues with conductivity with fast track. There's sometimes not enough bus feeder wires on layouts, but I really made sure to sit down, wire it properly, and make it so my trains and any other trains people bring to my layout will run well, because you want a good experience on a layout. You don't want trains to run roughly. You want them to be nice and smooth, and I'm really proud that I'm able to do that on my layout. I'm also really happy with the elevation going up and down with those Woodland Scenics risers. I've done some other modifications to the layout that you'll be seeing in some layout updates pertaining to the track itself, and it just looks really nice. The elevation allows for some character on the table, and I'm really happy that my dad convinced me to install those risers, because initially I wasn't really all that interested in elevating the outer loop, but I'm really happy I did. I'm also really happy that I kept my so-called famous crossover. That video on my crossover from about a year and a half or 2 years ago now has a ton of views on it, and it's a really interesting part of the layout. It's the centerpiece when you walk in, and it really catches your eye, and it's very functional, which is really cool to see trains going in and out of that crossover. Moving on to some other things, some interesting things that I've noticed with the channel is all the series and videos I've been doing. At the beginning of the year, I was making lots of videos every week, about 3 a week. And on Wednesdays, I would have my Workbench Wednesday videos, and people really enjoyed those. I will definitely make sure to do more of those in the future. And it's just cool to see that people enjoy seeing me work on trains, and I'm trying to help you guys. That fast track video where I talked about wiring the fast track, that video is helping you guys. I don't do this just for myself. I do this to help you guys, and I like to see the positive feedback and constructive criticism of things, because not everyone's perfect. I like to improve things, and it's cool to see that some of you were able to use the things I was talking about in your own situations on your layout and stuff like that. I'm also very happy with all of my videos on engines and rolling stock, because they've just done very well, because you guys have been watching them. Thank you again. And I'm just glad that I'm able to share stuff with you guys. And I've also tried to make things more personal and kind of add some character to things by me being in the videos. I wasn't always in the videos on camera. I usually stand behind and just talk about the item. But instead, I decided to get on camera in one of my videos, actually on the stuff sitting behind me. The video on MTH's most unique and rare engines, including the A2 Burke here and the Unshrouded J. I was in that video, and that video took off. That video has lots of views on it, because these engines are very interesting, and we'll be getting to the engines and rolling stock that I've acquired over this year a little later. But in that video, I stood or sat in front of the camera and just talked, and I think that added more character and just made things more interesting, because it's me talking about the trains, not just the trains sitting there. And of course, over the year, I've tried to update my editing, make things more clean, and I, of course, make the intros shorter and a little more interesting, not just trains all over the place. I try to make them meaningful. I want to just show what the channel's about, but not take forever to talk about it. Something else I want to talk about is just the O-scale or model train hobby industry. Lots of things for me personally have happened, and lots of interesting and big changes have occurred this year in the industry. So the first thing for me personally is this was the first year where I really started buying a lot of product and pre-ordered some of my first products ever. I pre-ordered those coal cars from Atlas that I did a video on, so go check that out. And I pre-ordered my first item from Lionel, being the full Strasbourg set. The Strasbourg 90 and all the cars, and that was really big for me. It's a very expensive set, but it's not really about the money, but it's just the first pre-order for me ever, and I will definitely be doing more pre-orders in the future. And it's just really cool that I've been able to start purchasing more trains, and of course get brand new trains. I've always bought older products that were a couple of years old or many years old, and it's nice to be able to get new products. And it's always great to see new products in the industry, because as we've seen over this past year, lots of things are changing. The big topic is what is going on with MTH. We thought they were going to be sold, or we thought Mike Wolf was going to shut it down, but then Protosound lived on, and then now MTH is still a thing, but they sold some tooling to Lionel and Atlas. It's all over the place, and we'll just have to wait and see what goes on. They're still producing products, they're always announcing new things, there's not catalogs, but they are announcing new products. Like recently, they announced a Mikado, which is really interesting, and they're just constantly putting out new stuff. So we just have to wait and see. And of course, with Lionel, there's always new products coming, new technology, new ways to do things. And of course, and my favorite thing is just new products. I got the brand new Lionel S1 Duplex when it came out over the summer. I pre-ordered the Strasbourg set, and I'm going to be pre-ordering more things in the future. And of course, we learned about the new Vision Line engine, which is the Vision Line Class A. We learned about that at York, and we'll talk about York in a minute. But that's a whole new engine, lots of new technology in it, supposedly some brand new features, and just a lot going on there. And it's awesome to see that this is happening, and it's awesome to see that Atlas is still in the game, producing MTH's older rolling stock, their own new stuff, new engines, and of course the passenger cars that they acquired from MTH, and their own passenger cars. They're doing a lot of Amtrak stuff now. So it's just awesome to see what is going on in the industry, and that this hobby is not dying, people. This hobby is alive. There are tons of people in it, old and young. I'm kind of on the younger side, but there is a whole bunch of people in this hobby, and I've seen it over this entire year that people are really into this. People are buying the products. People are interested in the products. And that is what is going to keep this hobby alive. All of us are in this together to make this a fun and interesting hobby. Those who say this hobby is dying, they're wrong. There's so many people interested in this. I keep seeing YouTube channels popping up all over the place. People who are really interested in this hobby. People who are probably inspired by lots of YouTubers, including myself. I've gotten lots of messages about people thanking me for what I do. I'm not the only YouTuber out there. I'm not the best. I'm definitely not the best. There are tons of people who are better editing than me, lots of more content than I do, but everyone contributes to the same thing, inspiring others, showing others awesome trains, and making this industry a better thing. One of the biggest influencers over this entire pandemic and year was Chris RBP. He did a lot of stuff. He shot off. He has just exploded. His channel is crazy big now. And it's all because he's just him. He's super nice. He shows his trains just like the rest of us. And the whole goal with all of us in mind is to show people trains and to have fun. That is what this hobby is about. Having fun with model trains and enjoying the hobby for what it is. And that is what is key to this hobby. And it's just awesome over this past year that we've seen all of this happen. And I'm glad to say that the year is over and that we're going to have another great year next year with more stuff to come, more videos from me, and more videos from everyone else. I still have more to talk about, but what I've just said so far is just amazing. I'm so glad to see what has happened this year with all of my friends and all of you guys. I can't wait to see what happens next year. Moving on to something that's kind of related to the industry and what's going on is all these hangouts that I've gone to or get-togethers. I have this great group of friends, including people like RBP Trains, Chris's Trains and Things, RJ's Trains, Sam's Trains, Stephen Koferl, Maddie C Trains. The list goes on and on. JD Stucks, all these people. The list is too long. There's like 25 plus people that I talk with on a regular basis. And it's just so many people, and they're all amazing. I can't thank all of them enough for what they do for me and the industry. And they're just amazing friends. And we've all had these get-togethers. Some have been at Chris's Trains and Things house. Some have been at RBP's house. There was a Trainapalooza at JD Stucks' house. And all of them were awesome because while the trains are kind of the focus, it's more about the friendships and talking about the hobby than it is the actual trains themselves running on the layouts. Like half the time, we don't even watch the trains. We just talk about what's going on in life, what's going on with trains, and what's interesting to us. And that's what's awesome. We get to sit there and enjoy our friendships, and I can't wait to see what comes next year with more get-togethers like Trainapalooza, and of course York. Let me talk about York for a second. York was a long time coming. There had been a couple Yorks that we had skipped because of the pandemic, and this York that we had in October was amazing. The show was really big for the pandemic having stopped it for so long. There were lots of people there, lots of young people. I saw lots of people my age and even younger, and all of us were together at the show, just walking through the halls, talking, looking at trains, and at night we would go to a house and run trains. One of the get-togethers was at my house, which was awesome, getting to have everyone see my collection, my layout, and just get to hang out here. We also hung out at Chris's Trains and Things house. Some people hung out at Strasbourg, and there were more get-togethers than just the York show. But York was really like the big meetup. That was the place where we all got to meet each other. It was the majority of us, and we really got to enjoy the hobby for what it is. And I can't thank everybody enough for making that possible, and of course, just being great friends. And all of you viewers are what makes this happen. You drive all of us to make these videos and to make content and to improve, buy more trains. And if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be a thing. So I can't thank all of you viewers enough for what you guys do, watching our channels, and I hope all of us inspire you to make your own channels and make videos and share with others your interest in the hobby. That is so key to this hobby, and I cannot thank you guys enough. So I talked about how many subscribers I've gained over this past year, but how many trains have I actually acquired and gained over this past year? That's a very interesting question to ask, and I have a list here, and it might sound like a lot, and there is a lot of trains here, but again, think about it. This is 365 days that I acquired this over. That's an entire year. That's a lot of stuff, and some of it I don't have or I've sold, and I'll tell you which ones I've sold because you haven't seen them in videos. And there's also a couple things I've acquired recently that I've never shown on the channel, so I will clarify that as well. So I'm just going to go down this list I have here. It's sitting over here. So the first thing was my MTH Protosound 1 Class A. That was an awesome engine. It was kind of a dream come true. I grew up watching that engine on Tony Lash's layout. I did a whole video on this engine, and it was very interesting. I enjoyed it for a while, but as of late, I wasn't really enjoying it, so I decided to sell it. I sold it to Johnny from Autonomous Trains, and I'm going to be upgrading it for him, and it's going to be going to his collection. And I'm not really all that upset because I'm probably going to be getting the new Vision Line Class A, and that'll be the filler for the Class A in my collection. Moving on is an engine from a collection I acquired. I acquired a collection earlier in the year over my spring break, and the first engine in that collection is the Lionel Legacy FEF Northern number 8444. That is a gorgeous engine. All the silver lining on it. The FEF in general is a gorgeous engine, and I cannot thank my family friend enough for that. So another engine I acquired from him was a Lionel TMCC Shay. I haven't showcased that engine on the channel very much, but it's still a very neat engine. And I also acquired a TMCC semi-scale Pacific from him. I haven't shown that either because I don't run either of those very much, and I believe the Pacific is actually still in its box, as I haven't taken it out since I first test ran it when I got back from that trip. The next engine is another Union Pacific engine. That is the Lionel JLC TMCC Challenger number 3985. That is a very nice engine. I saw it on the OGR forum earlier in the year, and I just could not turn it down. It was a very good price. And the 3985 is a very cool engine because it's part of the UP Steam program. And, of course, the Challenger is a very neat-looking engine. The part that makes it even better is that it's JLC. Super detailed, lots of quality, lots of great sounds, and, of course, control with TMCC. An engine I'm definitely happy to own now. Is the Lionel Vision Line Hudson that I acquired as well. That engine is a very stellar model. It is gorgeous. All the features with the whistle steam, the stack steam, the swinging bell, and of course the road-specific crew talk and sounds. It is a gorgeous model, and I'm very happy that Chris, RBP, was able to show me that at his train store, and of course I could buy it from the train store. Very nice model, very happy to own it. Moving on is one of the engines sitting right behind me, the A2 Burke. That again was another OGR purchase. I saw it on the OGR and I could not turn it down. It is such a unique model. It is this odd green color. It is very weird looking. I did a video on it and the Unshrouded J. Very interesting engines, and of course that A2 Burke just stands out from everything in my collection. I'm very happy to own that engine. Moving on, I have the Unshrouded J. Again, a very unique looking engine. It's an unshrouded J-Class. It's kind of like the 611, but without all the streamlining. Very happy to own it, and of course it sounds interesting. When I first got it, it had a very high-pitched whistle, kind of different, and now I've installed a much deeper J-Class whistle on it, and it's just awesome to run with all my coal cars. I'm very happy to own the Unshrouded J. The next engine is my Lionel. It's an MTH Y6B that has been upgraded to Lionel Legacy. That was done by my great friend Brooke Bannister. It is a gorgeous model. The whistle steam is awesome, how it shoots out at an angle, and it sounds fantastic. The Y6B sound set from Lionel is killer. Lionel did a great job with that sound set, and MTH made the model look fantastic. I'm very happy to own that engine. Moving on, I have the Menards F3, a totally different model from everything else I've talked about so far. It's a scale-ish kind of O-gauge engine. It's kind of in between a scale F3 and a post-war style F3. Menards' first engine. I have the Beta 1.0 version. There were some kind of interesting, not issues, but flaws or kind of features that they were trying to get, but they didn't quite do it the right way with the speed control and the horn. As of recently, they've improved that with some newer beta versions, but still a very cool model to own, and it's nice that I got a piece of Menards history. Moving on, I have the Lionel Legacy S1 Duplex. I did a video on that engine. I got it while I was on my trip to Long Island, New York, over the summer from Nassau Hobby. Very cool model. Myself and Stephen Kofrel got the S1 at the same time. Just an outstanding model. Very good job by Lionel. Lots of great features, and it looks awesome. I'm very happy to own that engine now. The next engine is the MTH American Railroads Berkshire number 759. It is a very cool model. The blue paint scheme is very nice. I, of course, got the engine because my great friend Johnny at Automus Trains inspired me with his American Railroads Burke. Mine is MTH, his is Lionel, but still very similar models. I modified it with the white walls. Very cool looking model, and I'm very happy to own it, and it sounds great. That whistle is killer. It is so powerful just sitting there and listening to that whistle. Very happy to own that model. Moving on, another recent engine that I purchased was the MTH Norfolk and Western SD40-2 from Stockyard Express. When I went up to Trainapalooza at JD Stux's house, I stopped with Chris's Trains and Things at Stockyard Express, and I picked up that SD40 because I don't really have any diesels. I have some F3s. My brother has some New York Central GP9s, but I had sold my Lionel Legacy diesels because they weren't very realistic. So I picked up that MTH diesel, and it's a very nice engine, sounds amazing, and of course looks great with all my coal cars. Aha, I saw a cool engine on my list. I always forget, I've been forgetting as of recently that I have this engine because it's been sitting over in my turntable area. I haven't installed the turntable yet, but The MTH Protosound 1 Greenbrier. I purchased this engine at the York Train Show. It's a very gorgeous model. The Protosound 1 sound set in it is fantastic, super loud. Lots of smoke comes out of the thing because it has that nice Protosound 1 smoke unit. Very happy that I picked that train up at York. Aha. Another engine that I have but recently sold because I just don't run it is the Lionel TMCC Chesapeake and Ohio 080. I sold this engine to my great friend Sean. I did a video on this engine. I really liked it, but after that video, I didn't touch the thing for months. I didn't run it. I didn't really do much with it at all, so I decided to sell it. If I don't run my trains, I shouldn't have them, so sell them to someone who will run them. So that engine has left the collection. Another engine and set that has actually left the collection is the Lionel Legacy GS4 number 4436 and the passenger cars. I sold that, or rather I bought that train earlier this year. I cleaned it up, made it real nice. It sounded amazing, spoke great. It was a very nice model. But I sold it to PGH Train Fanatic, or Nick, if you might know him by Nick. I sold it to him, and I believe he actually sold it as well to one of his friends. But it was just a model that I kind of got for nostalgia's sake, wanted to play with it, but then got rid of it because someone else could enjoy it more than I did. Another set that I sold was my MCH Protosound 1 Powerton Aero set, which included the Protosound 1 J-Class number 611 and the Powerton Aero passenger cars. You might think, Sid, you're N&W all the way. Well, I am, but I have another 611 that I haven't really showcased on the channel much. And in the future I will. So that's why I sold the Powerton Aero set with the 611J. So we're getting down to the last couple, two engines that one is a set and one's an engine. So one of them is my Lionel Commodore Vanderbilt. You might be thinking, well, Sid, you've had a Commodore Vanderbilt forever. But I've mentioned how I had two. One was a replacement. That's silver, original, no modifications. It's on my wall actually right now. But the other one is a Lionel Commodore Vanderbilt that I had custom painted and I installed Legacy in. This is a fantastic model. It blows me away that I was able to create this with my buddy Pat. You're going to be seeing some videos on this in the future, so you'll just have to wait and see in those videos. Now, the final set that I have purchased is the MTH Protosound 1 Blue Comet set. This is a gorgeous set. It includes the Blue Comet engine and all of the passenger cars they made for that original Protosound 1 set. I bought it at Toy Trains and Collectibles in Manassas, Virginia when I was there with RJ from RJ's Trains and Chris's Trains and Things. It was on the wall. I asked them about it. I negotiated on the price, and I had to get it. The Blue Comet is like a dream come true kind of engine. It is such a gorgeous set. Blue is a gorgeous color for a steam engine and passenger cars. And as I always say, blue sells. You see the color blue, and lots of the time you'll be drawn to it, even if it's not the most pretty blue color in the world. The Blue Comet, however, is a very nice blue color, and I'm very happy that I was able to pick up that set and that engine. So there might be a few engines that I missed along the way. I was mainly showing off the higher end models and the big purchases of this year. That sounds like a lot of stuff, and it is. I bought a lot of stuff over this year, and I'm very happy that I bought all of it. It is amazing that I was able to purchase all of it. I'm very grateful for the people that have helped me, and just grateful that I'm able to do this as my hobby. Not everyone can always afford tons and tons of trains, but do what you can. Your trains are your trains. They're yours. You love them. Nobody is going to take that away from you. Whether you have a starter set or a super nice high-end engine, they are both the same. A model train is a model train. They do the same thing for you, even if they aren't super hot, super packed with details and features. Model trains are model trains and love them for what they are. And I'm very happy that I was able to acquire all of that stuff I just discussed. So as you can see, guys, lots of stuff has happened over this past year. There's all the friends I've made, there's all the subscribers we've gained on the channel, so many trains added to the collection, some trains sold, some trains bought. I've worked on tons of models for people on the Workbench Wednesday series and just off camera. I've got to meet a lot of great people in this hobby, and I've got to see a lot of interesting stuff happen in the industry, and all of us have seen that happen. It's not just me. This hobby is a very inclusive thing. We've all been able to see what's been going on in this hobby. And once again, I cannot thank all of you enough for subscribing to the channel, watching the videos, liking them, and it just means a lot to me. This channel was something I started back in high school when I was a freshman, and it's grown to what it is now with over 3,000 subscribers. It's just amazing that I've been able to inspire and show all of you guys what I do with my model trains, and I can't say it enough. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the new year. Happy New Year's, guys!